This daf Yerushalmi Terumos. The article Oz Bahara edition of Daf Tzadi Aleph Hamad Aleph, right at the top. So it's the second text word in the page. Tapur Shirisko in Mishnah Beis, and in the Vilna, it's going to be Daf Nun Amud Beis. The first wide line of page, Tapur Shirisko, and this second bar in the Mishnah. Okay, Tapur Shirisko, an apple which you chopped up. The Nasan took Isa, and you put it into dough, v'chintzon, and fermented it. This is obviously a apple of truma, otherwise I have no Mishnah. Harez asura, the entire dough is asur to a non-chohen, and the chiddush is even if there are 100 parts in the dough corresponding to the apple, the fact that the apple fermented it makes the entire dough asur, and that's obviously gives the chashivas which would not have otherwise. So if you have barley which fell into a well. We see these as barley of truma as well. Ferment, even though they made the water, they gave the water bad a taste. Mutar in the water is mutar because it's a bad taste. There's no sitam b'gam gives a bad taste, which is batel. Okay, says the Gemara. Reb Batzah Shana Toch Hadashim. I don't even in the Vilna here. Batzah Shana Toch Hadashim. Rabbi Chizkiah and Rabbi Achai b'shem Rabbi Ba'abba Ba'memel said, Masnisa b'shenosnu b'shotzia Masnisa b'shenosnu b'shotzia Hadashim me'mehem. Our Mishnah story about that the where you put the onion. The word B'shenosnu is not in the film, it's in the Kavanoki. But in any event, the idea is, I'm not sure where he felt nice to put it in, but you put in the onion after the lentils started expressing themselves in the, they expressed themselves in the water, the water came out. Shadasim softos also, because it's that whatever liquid comes out of the lentils seals off the onions. Shalo yitain, that it shouldn't give off taste. Now, in the Vilna it says shalo yivla, that the lentils should not absorb, but the Kamanaki changed it to yitain, that they shouldn't give off, which is the Groz Girsa, and I assume with Baz Girsa as well. Yeah, he changed it as well. Okay, so and it's changed several times here. That's right. The onion should not exude taste. I mean, that's not you, mayhem. But if you put the onion there before the lentils start exuding their liquid, lo b'da. In that case, it's not mutter. Because and it seems like even if it's a whole onion, it's still going to give a taste. So you say the lentils sealed off, it's not going to give a taste. So they also seal off that it should not absorb. And I guess in this case, you have a it's going to the Girsa, the Gra, where it explains. Hech, take the word Basnisim. Hech Avida. How does it work? In other words, what are we talking about here? The Shelo Yivla. But we're talking about an onion of chulin, you put it into a dash of truma, the opposite case of my Mishnah. So the lentils give off this, according to this, they give off this liquid which seals them off so that the onion will not absorb. Vafilu came, nevertheless, Adashim says so, right? This is the despite the fact that the lentils are truma, no, they are bar from this liquid that they exude from giving a taste of onion. Now in the girsa of the Gemara itself, it says, and evidently the Gemara takes this out as well, because it doesn't really fit it. That is the case for our Mishnah. So then, and it goes on to say, Hadat Tamar, this is all true. It'd be yavish. It would dry an onion which is somewhat dry. Obviously, not literally dry, but it's a little bit dry. But if it's moist, also evidently it gives it more taste and absorbs more taste. But batzal, that's what about onion. But kaflut, if it's a leak, ben lachmin yavish ben sholim ben mechutoch also gives evidently. I'm not sure it gives off more taste or absorbs taste more. But so it's not ben lachmin yavish ben mechutoch also. Okay. And it's talking about Tumto. And I think we're talking about going back to the onion, right? It's saying, because Mishnah talked about in Chaz Chavnos in Tam. So it's talking about where you didn't remove the top of the onion. I'm talking about the pitum of the onion. You have 2 or 3 onions which are small, then they're like mechutachin. So the interesting language here in the Kavanoki. To get added when you plant a single onion. They also grow out of the bulb. Not sure what difference it makes. Okay, I assume it's supposed to have onions. But other time Shankly Puzzle Yitzana Kadei Litain Tam. We're also talking about when the outer shell of the outer shell, the other shell of the onion, the outer membrane of the outer membrane of the onion doesn't give a taste. If the outer membrane of the onion is strong enough that it gives a taste, also, then it's forbidden because the interesting way Kavanaki puts it. First of all, about this, the going back to the small onions, the Kavanaki explains that it's as if they're cut because they are still soft. So the outer membrane is not strong enough and it's more permeable. And then he says in that which the lentils seal it off, also it means that they fortify the outer membrane to be a barrier from the inner part of the onion. But if the outer membrane itself can still give off taste. So therefore, if it has taste, gives off taste, it's also. I'm not sure you determine that. Then the Mishnah goes on to say Rarida permits tzachna, which we said was a mix of small fish which are pickled together like small herring, and you put in some truma there. Tamatin, dogim shizbashi makafluto shemaisisheni vishbichu. You have a fish which got cooked with a leek of maisisheni, and they got enhanced. Hashebach lepi cheshman, and the shevach is considered to be maisisheni according to the value which it adds. That's obviously when it keeps off a taste. and you have to redeem that Ma'aser Sheni. Rabbi Yoshua Masis lo Rabbi Yehuda. Our mission is not like Rabbi Yehuda. That price is not like Rabbi Yehuda. The thing Rabbi Yehuda Matir b'tzachna she'en litol zazuma. So Yehuda permits tzachna because it's only to remove the bad taste. We should mention that fish are not the case, right? These delicious bashal Ma'aser Sheni, they're not really much biach. Doesn't give a taste. It just removes the zoma. Rabban the case Sarin Boy, Rabbi wanted to say here. It's not a question. It's they wanted to say for the other Amar Rabbi Avo b'Shem Rabbi Yechanan, that which Rabbi Avos and Yom Kodesh between Shara so kilu butzo kilu kaflud. We reckon them as if they're onions, as if they're leeks. Look, Rabbi Yehuda, it's not Rabbi Yehuda because Rabbi Yehuda, well, the onion and the leeks in the fish, right? They don't give the taste, which has to be bought though. There's only Lavi Zuma. She should mention the exception, which applies to fish, and it doesn't mention it. Mori the botzel shel hektish. Rabbi Yehuda concedes that botzel shel hektish and botzel shel Mori the botzel shel vodazar. It's then say suya no, even though they don't enhance the taste of the tachna, they just take away the off taste. This is also ano, and therefore it's also as opposed to truma, which is not isra ano. Okay, so now we're going to the second part of the Mishnah about tapur shevisko. Tani tapur shevisko menasa toch isar chimtza. We learned in the Brisa that if you have an apple of truma which you put into a dough and being made it fermented, it's asura. It's also seems to be the exact same lashon as our Mishnah. Rabbi Yossi Matir. Yossi's Matir is not mentioned in the Mishnah. Rabbi Achor, Rabbi Avo, Shem, Yossi Barachia said, "Ma pligin." What's the machlokes in mechametz v'meimov? If you fermented the dough with the juice from the apple, the moisture from the apple, and then you put it together with the apple, you put in the juice. But if you're just using the body of the apple itself, mutter, that's permissible because I guess then it's just a catalyst. It doesn't really get absorbed, as opposed to liquids which get absorbed. Just like Rabbi Yossi said that you're allowed, interestingly enough, as the has parallel to Hilchos Shabbos, he said you're allowed to heat up an egg with hot with rags to heat up in the sun in order to roast it on Shabbos, because it's not considered derech bishul. That the apple does not cause true fermentation as another type of fermenting agent would, I guess, and therefore it's not the type of chimut which asers. There's the opposite of that gears for the common is opposite gears in our Gemara. The Vilna it says meaning here, meaning there, ain't tavshil bar. But the idea is the same idea. Whether you have whichever the girsa is. The way the Kabbalah, the article explains. He says the chimut is caused by the apple. It's not chimut gomer, but it's like chametz nukshe. No, it's like anything else fermented by fruit juices. So therefore, it's not which is not really true fermentation. Doesn't make leaven. It's not a leavening agent. I'm not sure if that's 100% the case here because could be talking about where there is water, but even then the apple is just a catalyst for the water to work more effectively. It's not the apple which is making the chimuts. It has to be that the water is what's leavening it. It's not really leavening the dough. I assume that that's the shot over here. Yeah. Okay. So Aram Shanofu. Now we're up to the barley. Tanya Konos time ben shvach ben gam asur. And their mayor shita is that even though it's in time of gam is also. Shimon Shimon, sorry, Shimon Lishvach also of Gambuter. And that's not Gambuter's mutter. Amar Shimon Lakish, Shimon says, Mapli and Shish Biach so Pogam. Only Machlos when first is Mashbiach and then at the end it was Pogam. In the language of the Gemara it says, Mapli and Bishbiach, same language. Avo Pogam. But first it's Pogam, then it was Mashbiach Avra Meir Modei, and Meir concedes that it's mutter because when it fell, it gave an off taste. He Pogam Sub Ishbiach Machlokes argue both the case of when it was time Shvach and then was Pogam afterwards, then Mashbiach. Tzion, so Orim Shavu Tochabar, so we learned our Mishnah. The Balish fell into the well of water, even though the water has the taste of barley, which is off taste, the water is mutter. So Hazam Asisim Mahi. What's the status of the Mishnah? Rabbi Yochanan Amar Machlekes. Rabbi Yochanan says it's Machlekes. And because Rabbi Yochanan said, Meir holds even Pogam from beginning to end, it's still also. Shimon Lakish Divrei Al-Kol. Because Rabbi Shimon Lakish holds, when it was Pogam immediately, even so much Biach, certainly here wasn't so much Biach, it's mutter, so therefore he says, Imrai Meir be matir in our case. Yossi Barbun, Amar, Elaine means Shmuasa. Yossi Barbun said, these things of Rabbi Yochanan, and these statements of Rabbi Yochanan and Shimon Lakish are Shmuos, are from this was a Hacha, is the language of the Russian of Vilna here. Shmuasa Hacha. So Lo Shakamnaki is Ilay Min Shmuasa. These are statements from Shmuos in which Rabbi Yochanan Mar Machlekes Shimon Lakish Divrei Al-Kol. In other words, there's several types of there's some Shmuos, Rachas, which Rabbi Yochanan says some is Machlekes, Rabbi Shimon Lakish says Divrei Al-Kol, and this is one of that or that seder that series of cases in which Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish have an argument along these same lines. And that brings us to the Mishnah on Tzari Beis, and we'll stop.